of the way, we can get to the previews and get on with our evening. If you don't mind. I don't think you do. All right, sir. Oh, books over here. Almost forgot. All right. This gave me a little bit of time to catch up. There's not a whole lot of stuff, like I said, to read the last couple of weeks. I haven't had a chance to catch up on some things that I've been behind on. Like, for instance, FML. FML is something that I love from the begining. And you're playing it too, aren't you?
No, I'm not up on this one. I remember you talked about it, right? It doesn't stand for "fuck my life."
Yeah.
I kind of hate that. I kind of hate that term, but
it's kind of genius when you think about it, though. I mean, like, damn, if something happens to you, like, fuck my life, you know. This is by Kelly Sue DeConnick, the writer, and art by David Lopez. Colors by Chris Peter and letters by Clayton Cowles. And the design, more books have designers now. The designer is Lauren McCubbin, excuse me. Lauren. And it's very cool, like, you know, is like the back of this issue number 1 has got like a designer, variant designer of Riley, the lead character in this show, in this series. But I've talked about it before, but it's basically Riley and his friends. One of them is called Savvy, is one of his friends. Her name is actually her real name is Savage Slaughter, this is her, like, you know, giving the finger to his mom and them as they pull up. His mom is named Patty Cake, and she's not named Patty Cake, but she was formerly known as Patty Cake back in the day. And Patty Cake was this well-known, like, punk entity who, like, she just like she was like the shit back when she did zines. She was in a band, and now she does a comic strip, and she still does zines and stuff like that. But she has a weekly strip that I think it's weekly or monthly or something like that. I think weekly strip that she does. But she's still a cartoonist, and some of the action is illustrated in her cartoons, in her comics, I should say, like that one right there, where they kind of use that as a mechanism to move the story along. You know, they'll kind of like cut away and, like, you know, have her say something pretty cool in her comic strip in that language. And Riley, of course, has Sav as one of his friends. Another one is called Glory, Glory, last name Glory, they call her Glory Hole. But she doesn't like that very much.
I don't imagine she would.
She does not like that. Her name is Gloria Holgate, and she may or may not be a witch, a real witch, and she always walks around with a real witch hat on, and she's fully into the whole goth thing, 100%. And there's Lydia. Lydia is just like the biggest nerd in town, but she's just this little lovable girl here. There's mommy drawing her right there, and she's just the sweetest kid in the world. She's just kind of like, you know, a nerd who doesn't get it, but she's part of the gang. You know, they keep her around because they all love her. So they have a band. Their band is called STFU. Shut the fuck up is the name of their band, and they end up doing like not a battle of the bands, but kind of like a tryout for this concert, for this concert tour that's coming up, and they're trying to get on with this concert tour. In the meantime, they hang out in this place called the Witches. They just call it the Witches. I think Jack and Damien actually, who live in Portland, actually went to the Witches and did a pilgrimage. That they've done. They didn't go out. They did like a crawl to all the comic. There's so many comic book stores in Portland. They did a comic book crawl, and they were going to go to the Witches, but it was because the Witches is too far away from all the comic books stores and stuff like that. So they thought about going to the Witches also, but it's this real place that used to be like a public bathroom, and now they just call it, you know, the Witches Cave or whatever. And at this point, they did like a ritual at the Witches Cave, and at the last page of issue number 1, Riley turns into a hairy monster, and there he is right there.
What the hell?
And you think, like, hairy monster, I'm screwed right now. But, you know what? Nobody cares. It's like, we accept all kinds here. In his world, he continues to go to school. He's just like, everything's like, hey, Riley's a hairy monster. No, that's okay, Riley. We still accept you. You're still the lead guitarist of our band and everything. So all this is going on. And meanwhile, Patty Cake and her, her middle-aged friends, they had a bandmate who died under mysterious circumstances, and they believe that she was murdered. And they think this guy that left town right around the same time that this girl died killed her. Well, that may or may not be true. I don't want to spoil it. But then there's another murder, and the members of STFU end up being suspects in this murder. So now, the shit just hitting the fan. They got a monster in the band. You're under suspicion of murder, and they end up getting into this big festival, but only because there's suspects in the murder. So it's like, all the attention is did these kids kill someone or not? Come watch them play rock and roll, So at the end of number 4, which is if I can find it here, number 4 is a super cool cover with that shows Lydia and how she sees herself. Lydia sees herself as a polar bear because she thinks polar bears are cool. You can see her reflection in the water below.
Oh.
She's like a polar bear. That's a very cool cover. Yeah. So at the end of this book, it's to reveal that there's been another murder, and also buried in the lead here, our own beloved Jack Rudo, who's from Staple Spine zine, horror magazine, and from Staple Sounds radio program that he does once a week on X-Ray FM. Jack had a letter printed of the top 5 haunts in St. John, which is a neighborhood that this is based in. And he got his letter printed.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Jack got his letter printed in number 4. So this is one of my favorite books right now. And I've been able to catch up with it because stuff has been slow on other new books. And I'm looking forward to the next issue of FML. It may be a 5-issue series, maybe 6. But at least 5, because this one is a continued story. FML, all that, shiny covers, great stuff from Dark Horse Comics, who were the owners of the late great Tifa.
Dark Horse owns Tifa?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
We got the Dark Horse headquarters is right across the street from the Tifa actual brick and mortar. When I was there last, a couple of years ago, I was there, and Damien and I went there. It's a nice store. It's a nice store too. But I'd already bought stuff at the other store. I didn't have to buy anything from them. But next time I'll probably pick up some more stuff from them, actually. So, yeah, Dark Horse headquarters has got like life-size figurines of their characters in the showcase windows and everything, and very cool. All right, the next one is a very, very rare book. I think a lot of people don't know about this book. I saw it like in the previews, like for months, like a couple of maybe probably a year ago. It's called Trample from CEX Publishing.
I swear I saw that book in my shop today. I swear I did.
Did you?
Wow.
Did it just come out? I know we've been talking about, oh, this is never going to come out, but yeah, Phil, I love that. Maybe it just came out. It popped up on my my want list not long ago, and I ordered it. So it just came in the mail a few weeks ago. In the last, I said the prior, maybe this my comic shop shipping. I don't remember when, but I got it very recently. I know it was being solicited for many weeks and it never came out. This is written by Garrett Gunn. The artist is Samir Samayo, and letters by David Lentz, and editor is Christina Blanche. So this is kind of like, there's another book that came out a few years ago called Ark, which was very much about animal activists and things like that. This is a little bit similar, a little bit different. It takes place in Botswana, South Africa, is where it begins, where these poachers, there's no better way to call them, these two poachers, a man and a woman, are meeting up at the airport there. Well, they're arriving at the airport. They already met up, they're arriving at the airport and they're ready to go do some poaching, as poachers tend to do, and they kill elephants. They're just the worst of the worst. And one of them, the woman, she's kind of having second thoughts, like, maybe what we do is wrong. Maybe we're bad people. Maybe we're assholes. But the guy, of course, in total psychopath form, is like, what do you mean? I wouldn't want to do anything else. Like, fuck the world. It's all about me. Making money. I don't understand anything but making money from things. Fuck those elephants and all that stuff. So he's just a prototypical psychopath. They head out to the outback, or whatever they call it, the place where the elephants are in Africa, or the range, or where the vast plains of Africa. And they get out there and they start camping and they set their traps, or they mean to catch this big, I guess, rogue elephant who has just like been terrorizing and doing things around in that area. So they figure it's going to bring a good price for ivory and all that. And they end up trapping an elephant, but it's not the elephant that they expected. And some things happen that justice is served by nature, as karma in this case is real. And if you ever want to read it, I want to spoil it for you, but it's a pretty easy read. And it's not a super complex book, but the message is good. I love the fact that it's talking about this stuff here, like on the back page, near the end, it says, like, at the beginning of the 20th century, the African elephant population was estimated to be around 12 million. At the beginning of the 21st century, the African elephant population was estimated to be around 350,000.
Damn.
97% decline. So, there's another book coming out called Tuskers, which is about all that shit going on. So, man, if you're into that, and it's only a $4.99 book from CEX Publishing, if you can find it, I think it's a good read. Trample, about this elephant and the revenge that it takes. So this is a case where the people who deserve retribution get retribution served upon them. So
love to see it.
I know, isn't that great? I love when that happens. The last one is one that was not a penultimate book, but it was among the best books of the week a couple of weeks ago. And this one is buried long, long ago. This is also from Mad Cave, which makes so many great books, I can't even tell you. Written by Anthony Cleveland and art from Alex Cormack, who has just done a lot of stuff that we love. Yeah. Justin Birch is a letterer.
And, hey, that's the homie.
You know Justin Birch?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Speaking of the homie,
he's in my Heroes Con video.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I haven't seen that. Maybe I did see that. I just didn't remember it. What's up, John Stout, sir? How are you? See you popping in.
Fatty boom batty.
That is boom batty. This woman, Belle Guinness. This is a true story. It's not a true story. Scratch that. Belle Guinness was a real person. Okay, so this is based on historical fact with fiction thrown in. This is like an adult fairy tale. Like Grimm's fairy tales were not really for kids. If you look at the original Grimm fairy tale, they were quite grim, in fact. This is much like a fairy tale for adults, and it begins as a fairy tale as as the girls, Belle's daughters, are arriving. I guess where they were, but they had been away from Belle, and Belle has married another man, as she tends to do. And the three girls are on the train, and the oldest girl is reading the story to the two little girls. And in that story, there's this story about the knight who was seduced, or this lured, I should say, into this briar, by this malevolent entity. And this fairy tries to save him, but the knight is not hearing it because he's just under the spell of this vixen who's luring him into his doom. And it very much parallels the story about their mother, who is just a monster. She's a real life monster. And the oldest girl she's so sweet, and she's become the caretaker of the other two younger girls. because her mother is just like too busy finding men to marry and murder. So she has to take up the role of the nurturer. They get to the destination. They're on the train here. As you can see, like she's reading the story and all that, and they finally get to the destination where she is. And Belle, she's such a great picture of her, looking as ominous as you would think a murderess like her would look. And she was telling the oldest girl to make sure you greet your new daddy. Tell him that, oh, we're so glad to be, your daughters, and we're so glad to have you as your daddy. She's like feeding the kid the line. She's manipulating them and making them say these things and do all these things that they don't want to do. And the oldest girl is like, she puts up with so much. You can see her just stressed out. She's pulling her hair and just like she's dealing with the situation. So she meets the father. They get along fine and everything. But then one day, of course, new daddy turns up dead. Who could have seen that coming? Because Belle Guinness, the actual Belle Guinness would operate, I guess what amounts to an Airbnb at some point, or just some kind of a place for men to stay. And she would just murder men. And, back then, I guess it was a lot less accountability. And they just come up missing, like, oops, he's gone. And the same thing happens to new daddy, with these girls. And then there's a scene, I don't want to give it away because it's so powerful, where the oldest girl is trying to convince the other two young girls, and that they don't really understand what's going on. And she's trying to convince them, look, mommy wants us to say that this is what happened, and this is what you're going to say. And it's like, why we got to say that? And she has to explain it to them and all that. It's a very powerful scene. But at the end, there's like another revelation that looks like, there's something more at work here than just Belle's evil. There's another evil entity in this story as well. This is where the author takes the license and just, takes it to another level in the supernatural. Because Belle Guinness, if I'm not mistaken, was never caught. I think it's kind of one of those legends that, like, this woman did all this shit. And, yeah, it does, doesn't it? And no justice was served, and just like it becomes this mysterious legend that people yeah, exactly, that's what they was doing. The hogs don't leave much trace. It's like in what's that, Deadwood, the Chinese guy there would just feed people to the hogs, like they gone, like where's the evidence? So yeah, and it's this very similar situation here with buried long ago. And yeah, I like where this is going, and I think maybe if you want to trade weight, it might read better as a trade because you can read the whole thing at once. And there's a very good adaptation of some historical fiction and turned into a pretty good story.
It sounds interesting, man. Sounds creepy. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. And that is your what's good for this evening, ladies and gents.
Excellent.
Excellence is Mr. Bird. Yes. Hey, don't forget to subscribe and leave a thumbs up.